What's going on, y'all? My name is Jeff Rose. I'm a certified financial planner, and welcome to Wealth Hacker TV, where I teach people to achieve financial freedom using accelerated wealth building strategies. And today we're talking about how do the wealthy get richer. When I started my career as a financial advisor, I was all in, committed to growing that business. First I had to survive. And to keep my job. And once I hit survival mode, the next income level for me was reaching that coveted six figures, making $100,000 a year. Didn't have anybody in my family make six figures. So to achieve that was amazing. So once I hit the six-figure level, then it was growing to 200,000 and 250, 300, so on and so forth. But it wasn't until I started my blog, which was purely just a marketing tool, but ended up being its own separate business. When that thing started making money, it finally hit home. I finally understood how the wealthy get richer. See, many wealthy people, they have a core business, a core asset, something that they pour all of their hard-earned money, their energy, their resources, their blood, their sweat, their tears into this thing that they want to survive, that they want to grow it and nurture it to where it becomes a beast, something that just produces thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. But until you have that core base, that core business, that core asset established, then it's really hard to branch out and to do other things. And that's why you'll see a lot of successful entrepreneurs, a lot of successful business owners, they don't just have one business, they have multiple businesses. And a lot of those businesses have synergies that complement each other. That's why you look at Elon Musk, with SpaceX and Tesla and all the different companies they had, they all feed into each other. They all can help each other grow. And that was one thing that really didn't sink into me until I saw what building a separate business that was actually complementing my main business, and the fact wow, so one is actually helping the other grow and they're both making money. So when I learned that, it just all made sense. But to get to that level, I had to recognize that there are seven ways that wealthy people do this, and this is what they are. All right, the first thing that wealthy people do is they focus on long-term goals. So we live in a day and age when we want immediate gratification, where we expect to invest $1,000 and within 30 days we have $10,000. Yeah, I'm talking to all you crypto people. We all want fast money. We all want to be an overnight success, but it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. Elon Musk didn't become SpaceX, Tesla. That wasn't overnight. We're talking about years and years of hard work. And even with my financial planning practice, it took me 5 years to finally get established. And with my blog, it took me 10 years to get to a point where I was making over seven figures from that blog. It does not happen overnight. But the cool thing about having long-term goals is that once you actually set these goals, you can see them come to fruition if you give it time and you don't deviate from what your main goals are. I've already mentioned Elon Musk a few times in this video. One thing we can appreciate about Elon Musk is that he is a visionary. He is a big thinker, but he also is goal-driven. Back in 2012, he had a goal to have the first mission to Mars, sending a human to Mars by the year 2032. And he's since revised that now to 2024. But these are his long-term goals. He did not have a goal to do this overnight or next year or 2 years from now. This is something he recognizes is going to take time, and he has to establish a lot of different goals along the way to get to this big goal. But you have to have long-term goals. You can't be wanting to have overnight immediate success and then just get disgruntled and get frustrated when it doesn't happen. Because wealthy people recognize it takes time to achieve that massive success. And this ties in beautifully to number two. So the number two strategy that the wealthy people do to get richer is that they understand that goals play out over time. So when you have these long-term goals, you are focused on what are the daily tasks that you need to do? What are your monthly goals? What are your quarterly goals? What are your yearly goals that you are implementing, that you are working on to achieve these bigger goals? And this is when I love to use what I call the RAP method. So this is using results and advanced planning to achieve whatever that desired goal is. So what is the WRAP method? So basically all we're doing is if we have a 3-year goal to achieve X, so let's say that we want to have $50,000 in a retirement account, and like that is our 3-year goal. So we work backwards, like what are the steps that we need to do in the next 1 year, the next 3 months, and our daily goals to achieve this 3-year goal of having that $50,000. It's basically just reverse engineering whatever it is, the goal that we want, to find out what those exact steps are that we need to take today. All right, number 3 is creating a business that has long-term value that pays massive dividends. And I alluded to this a little bit in the beginning, but using my own personal example here, I had my financial planning practice that I spent years developing. So that thing became a beast. It became a revenue producing machine. I was able to hire the right staff. I was able to bring on another advisor that I was able to offload so much of the duties that would bog me down day to day. And because I created a well-oiled machine that allowed me to focus my other efforts on building other businesses. So that's when I started working on my blog, and I spent years trying to figure this out. Now with the blog, like it didn't make hardly any money the first years, but after, I think it was like the 3rd or 4th year, I started making between, well, let's say $25,000 to $50,000 a year from this side hustle. And all I was doing was sharing content, sharing experiences from my experience as being a financial planner. So as my blog continued to grow, that's when I created another blog. This was my life insurance site. And the cool thing about my life insurance site was I had so much experience from starting my other blog. I had years of experience. I had so many connections with other personal finance bloggers, and I could write for a lot of big channels like Forbes, CNBC, Business Insider, etc., that I was able to create this life insurance site. And within 9 months, it was making over $100,000 a year. So now I had my 3rd business that was making 6 figures per year. From there, I created my first course where I was showing financial advisors how to use online marketing to grow their businesses. That made 6 figures in its first year. And then I started my YouTube channel, not to mention the fact that my financial planning practice, my blog, like all my businesses are growing. You know, they're not stagnant, they're not dropping in revenue, they're actually all growing simultaneously as I'm creating other businesses. And that's the power in creating long-term value in your business, in other businesses that pay off dividends as you are still working on other projects. All right, the 4th thing that wealthy people do, and this is a big one, is that they recognize what their weaknesses are and they outsource, they delegate. And this is a hard one for me because when you have a business, when you have something that you have put so much time and energy into, it's hard to let it go. It's hard to turn it over to somebody else and let them manage it. Let them take on tasks and duties that you have been doing for years. But until you recognize what those weaknesses are and get it off your plate, like you don't realize like how much time and energy, not just physical energy, but mental energy that you are wasting, that's being sucked out of you, that you could be focusing on other things that are much more productive and more importantly, are gonna make you a lot more money. One of the ways I was able to recognize like what my weaknesses are, and not so much like in my skills, but in my personality, like how am I wired? We are all wired in a different way. And because of that, like we can do certain things better than other people can do. That's just how God made us. So one way that I was able to learn that was through a personality test called the Colby exam. And I talked about the Colby in one of my Wealth Hack Wednesday videos, but basically all the Colby does is just help you figure out like, what are your strengths? Like, what are your weaknesses? And for me, like I'm a big thinker, big idea, visionary guy. I love to do research. I love to know everything about everything, especially when I'm like just digging deep into a particular topic. Now, some of my weaknesses is that I'm not good at building processes and I'm not good at follow through. So I love the big idea. I love coming up with the vision and like what this thing is going to be. But when it comes to implementation, like that's where basically I suck. I suck at follow through. I get bogged down with the details and that does not excite me at all. So how have I used this to my advantage? Well, since I know that my follow through is pitiful, that it sucks, I was able to hire independent contractors, staff, employees where their follow through is high. So they take my vision, they take my idea and they get it done. Do you see how that works? Like it's a beautiful thing. So right now, like what are some of the things that I just don't do because I'm not good at it, or there's somebody out there that does it better than me. And right now, those people are on my team. So the things that I outsource are SEO, web design and development, writing and editing blog posts, social media marketing, emails, video editing, monetization channels, graphic design and images. I used to write all my blog posts. I used to edit all my videos. I used to create the images that I would share on social media. It's like, why am I doing that? If you want to be successful, you have to have a CEO mindset. Ask yourself, if you are the CEO of your business, like, are these the things that a CEO would do? Which brings us to number 5. Number 5 is going all in on your strengths and just crushing it. So once you're able to recognize, like, man, where are the areas that you flourish in? What are the areas that don't feel like work? Like, these are things that almost feel like a hobby, that you enjoy doing this all day long. When you free up your time, you can focus on these. So it took me a lot of time to figure this out. When it came to my online business, some of the areas that I was ready to go all in on projects, sometimes they were money makers, sometimes they were just to give me some massive exposure and to allow me to be a face and an expert in my niche. For those that didn't know me, one of the first things I did was the Roth IRA movement. And we're talking, this is years ago, but basically I was able to get over 140 different personal finance bloggers all to write about the Roth IRA on the same day. At that time, I wasn't as known in the personal finance space. I definitely was not contributing to a lot of the big sites that I contribute now. And by doing this movement, not only did I get street cred from all these personal finance bloggers, but I also got some major media mentions from MSN and the Wall Street Journal, and I think the New York Times, and there were others. But before then, like, I was still like trying to climb the ladder to get exposure. But by going all in and just using my network of other bloggers that I knew, like, that was a massive success. The other project I was able to go all in on was the Online Advisor Growth Formula. So this was the course that I was creating for advisors, other financial advisors, to use online marketing to grow their business. So it took me about 90 days to outline this video, to record all the content, and then to market it, to push it out there. And in that first year, I made over $120,000 from this course, which all this course was just sharing basically like my personal story of how I use online marketing to grow my business. And had I not spent the time, invested that time, went all in on creating and launching this course, that was over 6 figures of income that I would have lost. And that was just in the first year. I was able to do that again in the second year. And it's a course now that I can still market and sell on top of everything else I have going on. The last thing that I've been able to go all in on, which massive thank you to all you watching this right now, is my YouTube channel. So back in October of last year is when I went all in again with YouTube. And just by learning from other awesome YouTubers, like, I finally figured out, how to do this YouTube thing. And I'm seeing massive results because of this, because I have gone all in and I love it. What up, YouTube? All right, number 6, and you've heard this before, a little cliche, but follow your passion, find your passion. But once you find it, work harder than anyone else. Now, it can be a little cliche because sometimes following our passion, like, we don't know what our passion is. Like, you have to go out into the workforce and try different things. You have to experiment and go just feel it out and see what's going to work best for you. I didn't really know what my passion was. Like, I knew I was a finance major in college. I enjoyed numbers. I enjoyed investing. So starting off as a financial advisor, like, it just made a lot of sense. So through that process, I recognized, like, it wasn't so much the money or the numbers when it came to being a financial advisor. What the passion was educating, was taking hard, complex investing principles, financial planning principles, and then teaching that to others so that they could understand it. And most importantly, they could take action on it. So that was my passion, but it took me a few years of being a financial advisor, growing that business to where I finally figured that out. So that naturally led to my blog, that led to the podcast, that led to this YouTube channel. Here I am still educating, wanting to inform others to take action and to achieve wealth like no other. So like, that's my passion and I work on it. I work on it every day. But I'm not the only one that's found their passion. I've highlighted a few of my friends that have successful businesses where they follow their passion. One of those friends is Evan Burst, otherwise known as the Cartoon Block. And Evan is an amazing cartoonist that he used to work for Marvel, like worked on some amazing projects, but wanted to do his own thing. Now, while he was working at Marvel, he had a YouTube channel where he was showing people how to draw, mostly like superheroes and villains and just some really cool things. So with that YouTube channel and his Facebook page, like he built a massive following. And once he finally figured how to monetize that, to create products and a program to teach others how to draw like he can, he was able to quit his job, work from home, and has a massive business that just continues to grow. Another friend of mine, Chris Greenwood from the band Manifest, like he's had an amazing career as a musician. But even more than that, he has an amazing business, an online business, where he has shown other musicians to use online marketing to grow their following, to sell more records, to sell more t-shirts, to let others know about them, that they exist. I mean, what an amazing thing that he's making money from his main core business, but also to teach others how they can be successful as a musician. Two good friends that are totally living that life of following their passion and getting paid to do it. The seventh thing that wealthy people do is to strive to be better even when their goals have been achieved. Now, one way that you can do this, and this is something that I started doing and just had a massive change on how I went about achieving my goals. But when you are a high achiever, an entrepreneur, and you're just looking to the next big thing, it's easy to forget all the things that you have accomplished to that point. So one of the things that I do now that I force myself to do is have a moment of positive focus. So what do I mean by that? That means that I am looking back on the last month, the last quarter, the last year. I'm looking back at what are the things that I have achieved and celebrate those. It's so easy to forget all the little wins and even the big wins along the way because we're so focused on what the next thing is. I can remember one of the times that I closed my biggest client. This person had millions of dollars. It was the biggest client I ever had. And after they signed the paperwork and they became a client, I was already on to the next one. I was like, all right, I gotta get another one. I gotta keep growing this business.
Another one, another one. Another one. Another one.
That was a huge victory, and I should have taken that time to celebrate, but I didn't. But I do now. I make sure that each quarter that I look back and I write down, like, what is everything that I have achieved? What is everything that I have accomplished? And celebrate that. I also have different mastermind groups and different, friends of mine that we do this with each other. Like we force ourselves to share, like, what are those big wins? Because sometimes it's hard to share some of these wins. Like it's hard to share, I just had a $200,000 month. I just did this. I mean, you can't just go around sharing that to your neighbor or somebody at your church or just like, a family member because they're going to think you're kind of crazy or whatever. So you got to find those right people to be able to share that information with because that is amazing. It's an awesome experience to share those big wins. A quote that I want to close with, and this is a quote that I live my life by, is make your future bigger than your past. Don't get caught up in all the things in your life that didn't work out for you, all the goals that you had, all the things that you wanted to achieve that you haven't achieved yet. What have you achieved? What are the things that you have accomplished? Take stock in that, celebrate those wins, but look towards the future. What are the things that you still want to do? Just because you didn't achieve those in the time frame that you initially had established for yourself doesn't mean that you can't push through, that they can't still be accomplished. It can be done. You just have to keep pushing through. You have to keep believing in yourself that it can be done because it can. All right, I really hope you enjoyed this video because I love you. I'm serious. I want to help you achieve wealth faster than your parents or school ever led you to believe that you can, because you can. You can achieve wealth if you believe and continue to work on that dream. I'm reminding you also that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. If you like this video, you know what to do. Give me some likes, share it with somebody else that needs to hear this message because they can become a wealth hacker too and live the life that they want. All right, until next time, y'all. Peace.